Live from New York, it's the show that is starting to believe a little bit more on an NFL team that's in the basement. But I'm making some wise decisions. You know what I mean? I like to buy low.
You do.
I look at teams.
And then you sell once they get good.
From worst to first, they call it.
Can I tell?
Anyway, just admit to that, Josh. Worst to first.
Can I tell Brew the conversation we had earlier?
Sure.
Wilds likes to either be like 7 years too early for a team.
Yeah, Magic and the Thunder.
Or three months too late.
Roster.
Or right after they win is when he likes them.
Yes,
He's never like.
That's very true.
Just stay tuned. You'll be like, wow, Wild's called that one. We are starting in Baltimore. Some bad news out of Ravens camp, bro. Isaiah likely going to have surgery after breaking his foot in training camp. Now, Ravens open up their season in Buffalo in 39 days. Here's Likely's production the last few years: 42 catches, 6 touchdowns, including that opening night in Kansas City where he had 9 for 111, 1 touchdown, 1 almost touchdown. Brew, how concerned are you about this surgery?
Look, I really like Isaiah Likely. I watch him and I always find myself saying, he needs more targets. Like, he's really good, you know? But honestly, this is nothing.
Really?
Yeah. They will be fine.
Okay.
First of all, he will be back. I don't know that he'll be back for game 1. He'll be back early in the season, right? He may miss a few games. Obviously, he's not even their number 1 tight end. I know you can go a lot of 12 personnel, but you got Mark Andrews, who the only concern you can have about Andrews is there going to be a mental block with him dropping that pass against the Bills? I don't think so. I think he'll be fine. In fact, I think he's coming back with something to prove. So I think he'll be fine. And look, I'm not saying Charlie Kohler is not, he's the 3rd string tight end. He made some plays last year. Now, he's not Likely, but he made some plays. Mm-hmm. So this is my point. I'm not worried at all about them losing Likely for a few games. I think they will have nearly as good a chance of winning their early games as they would have without him. The schedule is a monster. And
early.
They could win.
The
they could win. They could
early.
Lose those games. Yeah, early. They could lose those games with or without Likely. So like you said, before the bye, I mean, you got the Bills, you got the Lions, the Chiefs. And the Rams and the Texans.
Every single one of their tough non-divisional games
is early.
Is before the bye.
I mean, that's horrible.
I am going to say, now they could be 3-3. I'm going to say I think they'll be 4-2 going into the bye. I know that's optimistic. Well, but then after the bye, it's relatively smooth sailing. So I'm not concerned. Look, as much as I love Likely, they'll be fine.
So I disagree with a ton of that. So first of all, I think their plan was for Likely to be the number 1 tight end this year. It seemed like there was a few months, and it wasn't because of the drop in the AFC divisional round game, but there was a period of time where the thought was the Ravens might be moving on from Mark Andrews because they have Likely. Maybe they like Kohler as well.
I thought that too, but Andrews had a career-high 11 touchdowns.
I know, but they knew that when all of us thought there was a real chance, and even Harbaugh had been kind of cagey about what they were going to do. Obviously, they ended up bringing him back, but I think the plan was for Likely to ascend to tight end 1, even though Andrews had the big touchdown numbers. So I think that is problematic for him. I think the fact that we are, and we'll see how it plays out, you and I disagree about the overall quality of their receivers. You know, not tight ends, but receivers. I think Zay Flowers is a below average number 1. You know what I mean? So I think he's a fine player, but I think if we were to
half the league has to
exactly right. So it sounds right. It's not as cutting as it sounds more cutting than it is. Yeah. He's a good player, but I think
did he make the Pro Bowl last year? I mean, I get it, the Pro Bowl.
But I think if you were, and I'm not asking you to do it, right? If you were to name receivers, you probably name 20 before you get to Zay Flowers. Bateman, we've been waiting on for his whole career.
He's healthy.
Well, that's the key. He's got to be healthy.
But it's not just healthy.
It's been a while.
I mean,
we keep on being like, Minnesota.
He's never going to be healthy.
Well, we're just waiting for him to emerge.
He's solid. He's not great.
Again, I think he is a below average number 2.
I agree.
I think they need the tight ends. Now, Lamar is brilliant, and so he is, and he's never had amazing receivers to begin with. But so this to me is, of all their pass catchers, I think this might be the one that for the beginning of the season they missed the most, because I don't really know how much they would miss Zay versus Likely in this. I think it's at least close. And I do think the beginning of the year really matters. The NFL, I told you guys last year I thought it was unfair that they said to Baltimore, start the season against the team that ripped your hearts out in the playoffs last year. And they're doing it to them again. Mm-hmm. And they lost that game to the Chiefs. They then last year had, all right, at least we're not going to start 0-2 because we have the Raiders. And then they lost that game, and then they got rolling last year.
But that was a must-win, I think, in Dallas.
Right, they went Dallas and then Buffalo, which people forget, but they blew out the Bills.
25 points.
Yeah, nobody talks about it. But it's a very similar setup.
It's a crazy schedule effort. They could be 2-4.
Right, and so
but I think they'd be fine.
Yeah, so I just think this is. I don't think it's cataclysmic, but I think it's significant, and I also think the fact that I have a real hard time discerning how long players are actually going to be out, because I don't trust the national NFL reporters on this.
Okay.
Every injury is avoided disaster, could be back early, and then 2 months later it's like he's returning to practice, because there's very little reporting and much more PR from agents these days. And so I would be shocked if Isaiah Likely beats the projections, because I think the projections are overly optimistic. Does that make sense?
And you broke your foot.
He broke his foot and had
39
surgery.
days.
Yeah. And so I just think if we throw the schedule back up, I think week 3 is the most I think
they'll
home
beat
for
the
Lions.
Well, the Browns are they usually play them tough, but I think.
But we thought the Raiders were awful last year, bro, and they lost to them. I will be picking them against the Browns. My point is, I think they're going to be without him until week 3 at the earliest, and it's noteworthy to me.
Can I give you a glass half full take, bro?
Yeah.
Or I'll just ask you a question, not necessarily a take. Lamar's biggest struggle, obviously, playoff pressure, you say. I don't remember the last time, if it's ever happened, where he's been facing must-win games in the regular season.
Well, did you say last year?
I know, but that was kind of like a first things first must-win.
Got you. Okay.
Where it was like you're 0-2. So I wonder if he starts off super slow, 2-4, disaster, 1-5. And he has to climb out of it like Joe Burrow.
The playoff intensity early because they're actually really.
Does that develop a callus once you get to the playoffs?
I don't see that, because then you could talk about his whole career. I mean, he faced pressure coming in when one of the great executives of the modern era said he should be a receiver.
I know, but
nobody thought he could throw.
Game pressure, not necessarily external real life pressure.
Again, the evidence is he was facing pressure, presumably against Pittsburgh last year. He overcame that. He has played well in the playoffs against Houston for sure. That's another team I think they'll beat this year early on. I don't see that. Okay. I do think Zay Flowers would be missed the most, because he's kind of their threat, as a deep receiver. Threat. Yeah, like he's the only guy on that team that's like a deep threat, a burner. So I think they miss him most.
Color me nervous.
Well,
really?
I think it's fair. I also think
one of these great teams is going to sink.
So that's the thing.
They're not all going to roll back.
Lamar is getting better every year. If Derrick Henry, if this is the year he falls off, then maybe something could happen. But if Henry is essentially what he was last year, Lamar is Lamar. Like, they need to run. I don't mind them running more.
It was quite historically rare what happened in the AFC last year, where the final 4 teams, Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, Texans, from 2 years ago, were the final 4 teams last year. You know what I mean? Like, that is an anomaly. And now I think because of that, and because the Chiefs, Bills, Ravens have been such mainstays really over this half decade, everyone seems to just be taking it as an absolute given, myself included, that those are the 3 best teams in the AFC and 3 of the very best teams in the league. But to your point, there usually is a team like the Niners last year, like the Bengals 2 years ago. Now, those were more injury related, that everyone thinks going to be awesome. and they fall out entirely. I wouldn't pick the Ravens for that, but this is,
It's on my nervous
crack.
radar.
Yeah, that's
I'm
fair.
marking that down.
on my nervous
I'm
radar. I'm
making
a Lamar guy.
a mental note that you're nervous.
Nervous. That's okay.
I don't think you're a Lamar.
Yeah, I think he's a Lamar guy.
Yeah.
You're a Jalen Hurts
If
guy
you were a
now.
Lamar guy, you wouldn't
Yeah,
be
you'd
nervous.
be like, it doesn't matter. He's fine.
Are you a Brock guy? How the 49ers do?
Yeah, I'm not as much of a Brock guy as I'm a Lamar guy, but yeah, I'm a Brock guy.
Okay, I'm just saying. It's
It
not
ain't
all
Brock.
quarterback
He needs
dependent.
somebody to throw the ball to.
We're checking
Going
in on
down.
Micah Parsons. Some people calling him Michael Parsons. We got to get clarification on that. Schefter reporting that we're actually further away from a deal. There's really no conversation about getting a deal done. We've seen how long Dallas sometimes waits on some of these deals. CD and Dak. This sounds different to me. A little more personal. Okay.
Wow. Did you hear what I heard
I don't
from Stephen Jones?
What's that?
He said, we're not dragging out these deals as is the national narrative, coming from all of us and others.
Yeah.
We just get played.
He didn't say that.
We just lose badly in the negotiations. That's what he's saying. He is saying that. He's saying CD and Dak and now Micah want to wait. They wait till the TJ Watts are signed and the other receivers and the other quarterbacks. They wait to see them raise the market, and then they come to us and say, we'll do a deal. That's what he said.
Something.
Is that not what he said?
Well, that's one reading of what he said.
That's
Sure.
not exactly what he said, but I like
Now,
that.
he might be fibbing, but that is what he said. Our view is they dragged this out. Because the truth is they could have signed all those guys a year earlier before they did. They waited. And Dak definitely played him. Dak is still the highest paid quarterback in the league. That's rare for you to be the highest paid at a position for this long.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think Micah, I just feel like his price is going to be a little higher than we think.
Well, listen, I think that this is so incredibly dumb. And I don't know why Stephen Jones decided he needed to go on G-Bag Nation yesterday morning. And I credit to the host who is in the spot of, I've said all these things about you and now you're sitting here, so now I'm going to say them to you. Even though they are the Cowboys flagship and there's a little bit of like, are you talking to your boss here?
Yeah,
And so I give him credit for that. I don't know why Steven feels the need to add more quotes to this contract maelstrom, if you will, because you are daring Micah to act up. And if I were Micah, I would at this point have a hard time not acting up.
What do you mean, like a back injury?
Or,
Well, he's already got
is
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
you're
I mean,
speaking about? I
or
think it's a back.
what Dak, as much as he could act up, did when he did the quotes of basically, I don't know if I'm going to be, I'm paraphrasing, but remember last year where he opened the door and he was like, I really don't listen to what Jerry says.
Yeah.
And that was in the quarterbackies. Micah could do it maybe a little more, aggressively in some of his quotes. But if I'm Micah Parsons and I see this list of contemporaries from my draft class, I am insulted. I am insulted that these 12 guys.
He'd be like, Trevor?
Well, that's the one
But
I hate
Micah
to say
goes
because I
into
like
the meeting,
Trevor. But
give
that's
me a break.
Right. That's the main one.
That's a great point by you. That is a solid
You
point.
know it, Nick. You look at
Right
all
there,
those
right
guys
away.
on there.
Micah Parsons,
Trevor is the first
You
one.
gotta
you're
be
like,
kidding
wait,
me.
What?
Trevor Lawrence? But continue. That is a good point you're making.
I'm surprised
That's
you
a
threw
good.
this
I wouldn't do it
graphic
with
up.
Patrick
J.C.
Surtain.
Horn
I wouldn't do
earned his money
I wouldn't do it
more
with
than
Patrick
Trevor has.
Surtain.
But how much has Horn got?
4 years, $100 million.
Okay.
Again, well, it's all.
It's a good point.
I know it's a good point because you asked me to make the graphic and then you just hijacked it to make
You
fun
fell
of friends.
right into it.
The point is.
And put Trevor first.
No, it's in
what
the
it-
order they were picked, you doofuses.
I mean,
Josh, I'm going to leave.
Nick, I got a great
that's all.
graphic for you. Start with Trevor.
Stephen Jones like, what?
No, everybody's laughing.
Why?
I'm sorry. Jerry, Dad, come here. Do you know how much I paid Trevor Lawrence? What? What in the world? Is that real? Sorry. Continue.
I can't believe you fell for it, Nick. And you're the poker star. I mean,
Can I make the point?
Sorry.
The point is, whether or not these guys you think deserved it, the point is Micah has outperformed everyone on this list hands down with the two questions of, have those guys, Jamar, Sewell, and Surtain all have an argument they have done what Micah's done. Yeah. The best at their position. You know what I mean? But they all got taken care of. And then this graphic, if you guys can handle it, of the next year's draft class. Those 4 guys have all gotten paid. That's the draft class after Micah's. So we're at 16 guys. 12 in your own draft class, 4 in the one after, none of which are definitively better than you. None of which have definitively accomplished more than you, have been taken care of by their teams. And that, if Micah is offended, he has a right to be. Because just like if right now, let's just say Jamar hadn't been paid. And you know what I mean? We would be saying, what are the Bengals like? What more could the guy do? We would think it's outrageous. I almost feel like we have given the Cowboys, not a pass, but it hasn't been met with as much shock as it should.
Why?
Because they've done it repeatedly.
We all think it's in a month they're going to make him the highest paid non-quarterback ever.
But it's weird for him to have to wait. It's unfair.
It was
for him
weird
to have
for
to
Dak,
wait.
not the Dak's Micah, but it was weird for CD. Like, this is what they do.
But hold on, was it as weird? I guess for
you
CD
thought
is
Dak
similar.
was going to
No,
be,
I thought, but Dak was also a different situation. Dak was a third contract. You know what I mean? And their skepticism on Dak originally, I think, was because he was a mid-round pick. Like there was Dak, as good as he was early, was not Micah early.
No.
And CD, I feel like, as good as he was early, was not Micah early. So
You think they played the trump card?
What's
the
that?
franchise tag.
Well,
I mean, let him play out this year, franchising. That's where Micah has to be careful. If I was Micah, I would be like, I'm not playing a down until I get my contract. But they do have that trump card of, we could franchise you.
All right, quickly, we got to get to the NFL 100. We've got another quarterback reveal. Justin Herbert, Parkins' fave, coming in at number 56.
Not number 5.
He's ahead of Stafford, Bo Nix, Jordan Love, Darnold, Dak, and Tua. It is a rise from number 75 last year to 56 this year. So, too high, too low?
I didn't realize it's the exact same spot that he was after his first year.
Oh, that's a good point. That's your point.
Yeah, that he stayed the same. No, overall, 56.
That's
no improvement.
And I think he probably will end up being 9th. Because, if we could show it to you.
Ninth?
Here are the guys, if we can move on to the, you know what I mean? We know there's 8 guys coming, right? Patrick, Josh, Lamar, Burrow, Hurts, Jaden, Baker, and Goff. So I guess my point is the best he could be is 9. He might be 10 if Stroud gets on. At this point, Brew, I think Geno is.
But those guys are better than Tua.
But still,
I agree with you. But I think
I think the list is losing credibility.
What?
I mean, hold on.
But
this isn't even about Purdy, because at this point I don't think he'll be on, because I have trouble seeing the players have him ahead of Herbert, Stafford, and
Jordan Love. And before you go to the list losing credibility, where I will give the list credit, is I do think this is about where Herbert should be. You know what I mean? I think Herbert being. I like Stafford more than Herbert, but 56 versus 59 is so close, it's fine. You know what I mean? Like Herbert in that 9 to 12 range is to me totally fair.
But I do not think he should be ahead of Stafford and Love, certainly. I do not think he should be ahead of Jordan Love.
Honestly,
I don't think he should necessarily be ahead of Dak. Dak has had great individual seasons like Herbert. Neither's been very good in the playoffs, but Dak's been better than Herbert.
I get that because Dak was hurt last year, and Herbert, prior to the playoff game last year, was having his best season. And it kind of does go in line a bit with America's preeminent quarterback ranking service, if you will, where I'm just telling you, my guy Gino's going to be in trouble, and you guys got so mad at me about where Purdy is on this, and it's going to end up being about where he is in the. He's going to be a tier lower.
Not to be a jerk and derail it. It looks like it goes left to right.
What
like
do you mean?
Herbert, Love, Dak,
Well, that's interesting because on the bottom row, Tua and Darnold, who are on the list, and Caleb and Drake May aren't. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
But that's the, like.
I mean, what are you talking about? Be serious. Go ahead.
No, it's like I said, I don't think Herbert should be ahead of Stafford and Love. Darnold and Tua ahead of Purdy.
So you think Purdy's cooked now?
Well, I would be. Do you agree with me? I would be stunned.
I've been telling you he's cooked, and you're like he's going to be in the 50s. We're still in the 50s.
I thought he'd be in the 50s. I just don't. It's not that I mind putting him ahead of Stafford, Herbert, and Love, but I don't think he should be ahead of Love. But I'd be surprised if the players have him ahead of those guys.
I like you. I think you've got something with this list has no credibility.
It's losing credibility.
Not losing, none.
Nick knows it. Well, look, hold on.
When Patrick Mahomes
they had
comes in at
Patrick
like
Mahomes
14.
eighth, following or that he went out that year and had the MVP and won the Super Bowl. So to me, that gives
last year they had Mahomes fourth.
The fact that you don't have
Coming off
Mahomes like the best quarterback every year is a bit.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, if you're going to make that point, then I agree with you.
It is odd, Brew, that you think that Purdy is either number 55 or not.
Like I said, I think he should be in the 50s or even high 40s.
Yeah, we got half the 50s
but
left.
I don't think he's going to be ahead. And I don't know that. Would you think players would put him ahead of Nick Bosa?
I don't think they do it. I look at it just position specific. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't think they're going to put him ahead of Herbert. I just don't think people are going to put him ahead of Justin.
Well, one guy can't win a playoff game, and the other guy walked off the Super Bowl field with the lead. What do you want me to do?
The thing, too, is they vote in December. This is before Herbert threw the 4 interceptions in the playoffs. So that's what I wish they'd vote after the season.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.